And we're good?
We are. We are here live coming at you
Yes.
with CEO Conversation.
Yes, we are. Voice CEO Conversations. I am Nigel Wright, Voice CEO and Gratitude Champion. And I'm joined, as you've gotten accustomed to over the last the seventh day, with the one-wheeling Mr. Attention Future, long hair today, CEO of Attention Live, Mr. Ian Utile. What's going on, man?
It's so good to be here with you. Here we are again talking about passion and profit. Both are very important. So it'd be fun to see how this conversation goes with the two of us today.
Oh yes, I'm very passionate about this topic. And shameless plug, if you did not catch our episode yesterday, NFT value versus NFT attention, I strongly believe that is a great play. You can start there if that suits you. I feel like that was a really great experience.
Yes,
I got a lot out of that. Got a lot out of that interaction. So let's dig in to passion, the significance of passion versus profit, or both. So. Right. I'm going to just start, and then I'm going to turn it over to you to kind of put you in the hot seat, and then see what you've got to contribute to this fine conversation. For me, and I had a call just before this, talking about this very same thing. I think that in life, much can become transactional if we allow it.
Right.
And the further we move back from our humanity, which is the being kind, which is the interpersonal relationship, the things that we find on like a Clubhouse where it's voice only. The fact that I can just sit there and just have an avatar, and just you hear the sound of my voice. The further we move away from that, and the more we get to transactional, is where we start to see it move into the areas more for profit. And that could be monetary, or it could be just for personal gain, like, to be honest, and further away from the passion or the impact that we're really making in the particular spaces. For me, I've chosen, and I work really hard at this. I don't always get it right, but I've chosen to really go down the road of passion in everything that I do. I'm passionate about this conversation we're having. And you would see that, again, shameless plug, if you look at yesterday's episode, it's when it hits just right, where you don't plan anything, you just do, it works, it's amazing, everybody shows up, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. There's so much, it's so powerful, that piece of it. Now, that being said, we have to make a living, we have to eat. There's necessary things, we have primary needs that we have to sustain. And that being said, it's finding the proper balance. The reason I wanted to bring this conversation, and what I want to go specifically to you, Ian, is this: in your time as finding multiple startups and being the CEO of Attention Live and all these business relationships you have, how do you find the balance between the passion and the profit to drive you in one area or the other? Do they converge? Are they completely separate? What's your formula?
That's a great question. I think passion and profit is not just passion and profit, but it's corporate passion leading customer passion. It's customer profit with the corporation benefiting from it. And this is something that's often missed. So the corporation, or the people on the team of the corporation, should have such passion that it impassions the customers to buy, to keep buying, and to tell their friends, because that corporate passion drives the customer adoption and the organic spread of the product or service. So I don't think it's a matter of, are you passionate as a customer? Are you passionate as a corporation? I think the corporation leads that. Ideally, a product or service that is acquired by a corporation should make the customer profit.
Hey, my buddy.
The doggy agrees. Now, in the case of Attention Live, we have a rev share model, right? So if somebody uses Attention Live's sonic streaming platform, which explains simply, imagine radio plus the flea market plus the post office. It's live audio with an NFT marketplace to make money from that live audio with mass distribution analytics. So if a customer like yourself, Nigel, uses our platform, because as a company, we're passionate. As a leader, I'm passionate. I've caught you into the enthusiasm. You're like, I want to use the product. This sounds great. Then our goal is to make you, the customer, profit. The way that we do that is a rev share. So if you look at the Apple iTunes for their podcasts, if you look at Spotify, their rev share model is a 30-70 split. The content creator gets paid one time, right? They get paid 70%. Now, that hopefully makes the content creators money. And so you look at Spotify and Apple putting themselves in there to make 30%, but ideally they're trying to help their customer profit from their content. Our approach is similar, but different. Because all the content that's created is put as an NFT on the blockchain, we're able to not only to do, we make our rev share 80-20, so we retain 20%, the content creator retains 80%, but we get to follow the secondary sales. So the third, 33rd, and 333rd sale of that content as an NFT, whether it's to a collector or a publisher or whoever wants to acquire these NFTs that our content creators make. For the secondary sale, the owner of that NFT will receive 80%. The original content creator will receive 16%, will receive 4%. So see, as a corporation, we are very thoughtful about making sure that the content creators, the customers, whether a large organization like a university or a nonprofit organization or a radio station, or an individual podcaster, or clubhouse moderator, or preacher, or teacher, musician, spoken word poet, regardless of who's using our sonic stream platform, we want them to profit. In us making sure they are profitable by approaching this with a rev share model, we then, of course, will profit ourselves. So that's my thought process on the passion and profit model. I'll go back to another company that I had co-founded in the past after you have a chance to kind of respond to what I just said, but I'll give you another example as well in just a moment.
Yeah, I like that. I think that there's no better way to formulate a company or a model other than creating the ability to pay in the simplest terms. Like if there's nothing to pay from, then, but if there's a place to draw from that well, then I think that is a good sound model, and I like it. And I like the analogies you used about the companies, having that passion for their product. I think the intent is right. Too many times we see these things where the intent is, I'm just going to take you for all you've got, one way or the other. That to me becomes more of a problem. I don't think that serves humanity. That doesn't serve us, the way I think it could. And it doesn't have to be that way. So let me hear this other example because I'm super interested.
So Kukui, that was a company that I started with my friend at his house. Our first employee was Landry Woolworth, who's now my co-founder and CTO at Attention Live. Our tech team at Kukui, many of the leaders of that team are now with us here at Attention Live. So when we started that company, I would just walk in with an iPad and a pitch deck. It was 10 slides if the person let me get through it. And I'd say, I'm here with good news. I came with passion. I came with enthusiasm. First statement out of my mouth is, I'm here with good news. Now, these people don't know me. They don't want to talk to me. They don't want to buy our product. They don't want to hear about it. There's no problem they think they have that they think I'm going to solve for them. Right. So I start off with enthusiasm. My passion would then try to open the door. And I'd say, hey, you probably use some of these products. I name off a bunch of vendors that were our customers that did a piece of what we did as a whole.
Right.
Like, yeah. I'm like, in the future, you'll use only our software and all these vendors you'll be able to get rid of. You see, I'm inviting them into the passionate dialogue with me. Like,
Right.
really? Like I can get rid of 2 or 4 or 6 vendors and just use your product, right? Then it comes down to the profit conversation. And I say, we start talking, how much money do you make from these vendors? How much does it cost you with these vendors?
Right.
With us, you'll have complete tracking. In your dashboard, you'll see every dollar that comes through our system tied to your point of sale system, and you'll track profit. So my passion opened the door and invited a prospect to be passionate with me. Our desire to make the customer money, to make them money, got them to sign, pay us, stay with us, keep paying us. And because we did this with thousands of customers, we made a tremendous profit and did over $10 million of annual recurring revenue without institutional investors before we were acquired by a private equity firm. You see, I led with passion to open the door. I invited the prospect in to be enthusiastic with me, to open their mind to the possibility. Then I made the focus them making money,
Right.
them making profit. The tool being a tool that's good for them. They all would have canceled if we could not prove that we made them money because we were expensive. Came out the door $1,500 a month. No small business owner is going to keep paying $1,500 a month, $18,000 a year, $180,000 a decade. They're not going to stick with us if that $1,500 a month does not equate to $3,000 or even better, $7,500 a month in revenue.
Right.
And so we as a corporation had to focus on making them money. And the reason why we scaled revenue and scaled customers and scaled staff and dominated this industry that we went into is because we maintained corporate enthusiasm that drew in new customers and retained old customers with their shared passion. And we focused on our customer making profit, knowing that we, of course, would profit as well in that model. So that's a bit of my thoughts on passion.
Well, I love that. I love the way you brought it completely home. And I will close this out because I want to stick to the time with saying talk about the importance of belief. I think there's 3 pillars that we have in terms of any sort of success. And that's belief, because if we don't believe it, it can't happen. And with the belief comes that same passion that you talk about. It's the commitment. It's doing the work. It's the showing up day after day saying, hey, I come with good news, which I love. I might just liberate that from you. I like that a lot. And finally, it's the support. The support that comes from impassioned customers that become part of the family, part of the community, part of the process to actually build something that's bigger than themselves. What I like to say, the 1 + 1 = 11, model. And I think these are key things. So passion, of course, it has to start there. And I encourage everybody to be passionate about the things that they do in every particular way. I think it only serves us, and it helps to serve humanity in that same vein.
Right.
And in closing, I thank you for joining us. I encourage you to watch yesterday's episode again. So that's 3 times I did. That was a trifecta.
It was very fun.
Really, really good. Had a good
Very
time with that. And I'll say that, remember, our voice is our passport. Conversation is our currency. And here at Voice CEO Conversations, we discuss the relationship between technology and humanity in all of its forms. We will talk to you tomorrow. And with that, I'm Nigel Wright, Voice CEO Gratitude Champion, and I'm done speaking.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your attention.